Welcome back to Morning Rush. Students aren't heading to college, but why? We told you yesterday how college enrollment has suffered the largest two-year decline in 5 decades. Now we're learning this trend isn't only because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Joining Morning Rush to get a better understanding of this issue and why it matters is journalist and higher education author Jeff Salango. Also, Davis Jenkins, who is the senior research scholar for the Community College Research Center and Teachers College, Columbia University. Gentlemen, good morning. It's nice to see you both.
Good to be here.
All right, Jeff, let's go ahead and start with you. What is going on with these numbers? I mean, why are students turning down the opportunity to go to a four-year college?
Well, we saw during the first year of the pandemic that a lot of students were delaying college and doing something else. What we're quite not sure of yet is exactly what they were doing. But the big declines were in two areas. One, community colleges. So many students may have just been working. Also, community colleges tend to be more hands-on, and if you're not in person, those programs don't have as much value necessarily. We also saw huge declines among men, which is almost all the declines last year, for example, could be explained by a drop in male enrollment. So there's a lot still to be known, but it's really concentrated in two particular areas.
So, Davis, I want to talk a little bit more about the community college level. What type of decline are you seeing there?
So community college enrollment over those 2 years fell 14% nationally. And just for comparison, enrollment at public universities fell only about 3%. So Jeff's right, community colleges and their students were really hard hit by the pandemic.
So why do you think that is? I mean, community college is such a great opportunity for a lot of people who maybe don't want to go to those four-year colleges.
Right. Well, Jeff said we're still trying to figure it out. The community colleges and their families often rely on low-wage jobs, which were hit really hard by the pandemic. In previous recessions, community colleges enrollment has actually increased. Also, many community college students don't have access to internet, or even if they do, they don't have just as important a place to study at home away from their families. But community college enrollment was in decline even before the pandemic. They lost a lot of older students. The biggest concern during the pandemic was the drop in the number of recent high school graduates coming onto college. This is really concerning because delaying college after high school really decreases your chances of getting a college degree. I mean, life doesn't get any easier as you get older, and it gets harder and harder with family and jobs to go back to school. So this was really concerning.
Jeff, I wanted to go ahead and bring you in here and get your thoughts on this and circle back to something that you said earlier, which is we're seeing a decrease in men enrolling. So where are all these students going, whether they're male or female? Where are they going if they aren't enrolling in college?
Again, it's unclear. We don't have a lot of good research on this yet. I think a lot of students took a year off because a lot of colleges weren't in person and families didn't want to pay for college. But we were kind of stuck at about 70% or so of students coming out of high school going right on to college. And we're right on this. And David's right on this in terms of if you don't go right on to college from high school and you don't get a job, and getting a job in this economy, especially a good paying job in this economy, was tough without a college degree, it's really hard to get back on that on-ramp to higher education. And so I think that's a big concern right now. What did happen to these students?
You know, one word that you both are using a lot is concern, because this is very concerning, these numbers that we're seeing. And Davis, you mentioned, the economic or the financial aspect of this. And, a lot of people just can't afford it at this time. But with that aside, what can universities and community colleges, what can they do to boost enrollment?
Well, colleges have to get a lot better at online enrollment, even though students will be returning. The best education is best learning is really hybrid, where you learn in class, where you can interact or do hands-on, and then you do lectures and other things online. Community colleges in particular have to get not only good at online learning and teaching, but online student services, advising. Many of their processes and interactions are still on campus, so they've really got to bump that up. But for community colleges especially, and this idea of getting men back And they've really got to make sure that their programs lead to either good jobs or, as we're talking about, the college degrees are getting, bachelor's degrees are getting more and more valuable, making sure that their programs align and enable students to transfer without racking up a bunch of credits that don't apply toward their degree.
So, Jeff, I wanted to go ahead and ask you what you think this means for the future of education overall. I mean, what does this drop in enrollment do for schools? Is it putting schools at risk?
There are a number of schools that missed their enrollment targets this year, and their finances are obviously dependent on students. Most colleges are tuition-dependent institutions. I think really what this is going to force them to do is to think differently about the markets they serve. We have thousands of colleges in the U.S. Way too many of them serve the 18 to 22-year-old market, even though there are tens of millions of adults out there, some of whom went to college and never got a degree, others who have a 2-year degree who could use a 4-year degree in this job market. And then there's all those people who went to college who have degrees who need upskilling and reskilling as the economy is changing. So there's these huge markets out there, but colleges really need to think differently about serving them rather than just the 18 to 22-year-old.
All right, journalist and higher education author Jeff Salingo, Davis Jenkins, Senior Research Scholar for Community College Research Center and Teachers College, Columbia University. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.